Hello everybody. Today on Firefall, we're going to be looking at the changes to PvP and how they affect Jetball in a combat sense. Now, right off the bat, the most major change everyone has seen across the board in PvP has been the speed nerf. All frames now move significantly slower. Why is that? Why did they make this change? One, people complained. Obviously, that's not the major reason, because vocal minorities should never change games. They're always wrong. That's why they're minorities. But what does it actually do for balance? Why would Red 5 choose to do this? There are two different types of weapons in the game. There is burst damage weaponry, and there is tracking weapons. Now, burst damage weapons are obviously all the assault weapons, recon weapons, and engineer grenade launcher, stuff like that. Weapons that set up huge bursts of damage at a time. Then you have to re-aim your sights, get back on your target, and then fire again. These burst damage weapons have a very low rate of fire, and setting up another hit usually takes a very long time, or a significantly longer time than tracking weapons. So in high speed combat, this is probably the most effective weaponry, because tracking weapons weren't able to stay on their targets as well as they should be. So in the end, people that set up their shots every time were more likely to hit their target that one time, and in the end do more damage to their opponent than people tracking their targets that were just kind of spraying around and around, trying to keep on their target. So with the speed nerf, this kind of boosts the ability of tracking weapons. Now, tracking weapons are weapons that do constant amount of damage, which is the biotech, the bastion, the dreadnought, all those things that are just laying out tons of bullets everywhere. And honestly, this includes the electron as well, just because of its rate of fire. That's why I include electron in the tracking. But how does that weapon work? So the objective of that weapon is to keep your reticle on your enemy at all times, and then just hold down the fire button. You're going to be constantly putting out damage and just basically overwhelming all of your enemies the longer you keep your damage, or longer you keep your reticle on your target. Especially for the bastion, obviously, which gets a damage multiplier the longer they continuously hit their targets. So with the speed nerf, obviously tracking gets a huge buff, while burst damage weaponry stays around the same, but for public games probably still gets a slight buff too, just because more often than not, those one chance shots are going to hit. So just in the end, we're seeing more damage all around. Tracking weapons get a huge buff, and they just constantly lay out people, while burst damage, they're going to be doing about the same amount of damage, but they're going to be missing less often, so they still have a fair amount of damage, and they're not like behind or anything. But when you think about the actual balance of the game, what classes really get a significant buff from this? Biotech, Electron, Accord, Recon, really strong classes before now are just ridiculous. And people that are experienced with tracking now just don't even have to care. You can just lay out a target so easy now. The Electron is ridiculously strong. The Biotech is a lot stronger than it was before, so now it can be considered really overpowered. But it does allow things like Dreadnoughts, Mammoths, and especially Bastions to become a lot stronger. So I can see the idea of why they wanted to do this kind of change, but they still have a lot of other balancing issues to work on before people are happy with this change. Or if they need to rethink about it, and see if they can improve other aspects and set the speed back to make the game more fast-paced. Now, other mechanics that were introduced for this patch were just the mechanics of Jetball in general. The ball is the new objective, or at least it's supposed to be. The problem is, people don't want to hold the ball right now. It's very scary and not good. Right now, holding the ball means you can't fire your weapons, and you can't use any abilities that include your weapons. So classes like Tiger Claw, Rhino, sort of things that buff your weaponry that you can't use while you're holding the ball, just makes you like, okay, I guess I'm not holding the ball. What would be the point of a Tiger Claw having the ball if he can't use his speed buff? That means he can't use his passive. That means he's useless compared to others. Also, your speed is even more nerfed. Your jetpacks don't work as well as they're supposed to, so you're actually just running around the map most of the time looking for speed buffs to help you get across. This obviously paints a huge target on your back, not to mention the gigantic circle over your head saying, kill this guy. It's actually one of the problems I have with mechanics is that since there is no minimap, people don't know how to respond to seeing an objective through walls. But I guess I'll get to that later. So we have the issue of people not wanting to hold the ball, but they have to get points. So what they do is they grab the ball, push it forward, and then team fight. Push it forward and then team fight. It's kind of like trying to get first down after first down in football. You confront your enemies, and then when you win, you push the ball forward. And it's very slow paced for what I think Red 5 is going for in this objective-based mode. And these open arena rooms really show that. It's just team fight after team fight. And it's really aggravating, basically. So basically all the good players are picking their kill classes and then working from there. There's no difference right now from team deathmatch than Jetball. The only difference is after you win a confrontation, you move your objective forward rather than just kind of grouping back up and waiting for them to respawn. What needs to happen is maybe work on showing people how to use the side lanes and, well, fixing the people holding the ball, fixing their jets so that works properly and they can ski properly in the side lanes, but then showing them coordinated paths to work on consistent push lanes where teams can group up, work on team speed buffs like Electron, Tiger Claw, things like that, and just get their team down the side lanes, up and down with those health packs and speed buffs. You could probably get to the enemy team in about probably 12 seconds from the middle objective, so that when you win your confrontation, you get to that side lane, you go really fast, and you score before the enemy team shows up. Or if you can't win your confrontation, actually pass the ball. That would be crazy. That never happened in this game right now. The only passing the ball I see is when people are confronting an enemy, they pass the ball to the enemy just so that they become defenseless as they catch the ball against their will. So Tiger Claw will just pass the ball to an enemy, kill him in like 2 or 3 hits, and then move on with pushing the objective. It's really frustrating to see the objective become the least desired position. So hopefully we'll see growth and changes in the game between both the developers and the players, so that soon we can get some different kind of strategies where we can have our base setting push comps where we have Mammoth, Bastion, Recluse constantly doing what they do now, and that's pushing, dropping the ball, pushing, dropping the ball, working off team fights so that they can set up a base in the enemy team, set up a base in the enemy team's goal area to secure a safe 3 points that they don't have to worry about, and then set up a base that almost spawn cancels them as their runner goes and gets the ball again. Or you can have your speed strategies with like Electron, Tiger Claw, and stuff like that, where you're just pushing a few guys really quickly down the side lanes while your bruisers are in the back holding off the enemy team. Or in the front, trying to kill off as many as possible so that you can just swoop in and try to go for an easy score, or maybe for a quick afterburner boost into the goal itself. Cool different types of strategies we might see once a lot of the mechanics are fixed, and I hope that works out really well. The last thing I want to talk about is the minimap in Jetball, or lack thereof. Now, when they previewed this game, a lot of you noticed right off the bat that there was no minimap, and you were really worried about how it would affect the game. And so what they did is they gave us the sphere above the objective, so that we know when the ball is dropped, we know when we have the ball, we know when someone else has the ball. That way we always know what we need to be doing, sort of. Do we need to be attacking the guy with the ball? Do we need to be protecting our guy with the ball? Or do we need to be setting up a team fight around the ball that's on the ground? Well, the only problem is this doesn't give you a good amount of information. I know what I want to do, but I don't know how to approach it sometimes. I see health bars going down on my team of 2 characters, and then I see that their team has the ball. I'm like, okay, obviously they're having trouble taking down the guy carrying the ball. I get there, they're dead, I turn the corner, and there's 5 guys right there I didn't see. Because of the way the map's designed, you don't always know what you're getting into when you turn the corner into another room. So what happens is your team doesn't set up properly for every situation. Mainly this is because of the lack of team communication in the game right now. I'm not pointing fingers at Red 5, obviously. I'm pointing fingers at the people playing the game. There's an easy way around this. People have to start learning to automatically set up voice chat between the entire party right off the bat. I know it's uncomfortable, but it gives you the option to be able to communicate with your team and know what's going to happen, and set up better coordination between your teammates. Just any type of coordination in general gives you such a huge advantage over the other team. And after playing this entire week with the other team having people like Superior, Tilza, Tarza, those guys that just automatically set up communication between their teams, and very aggravating teamwork against me every time I face them. I mean, I've only been in one room ever that had communication, and that was one game with Superior. It helped immensely, and we went 26-0. Super easy if you just have a bit of coordination. So people complaining about the minimap design, it's forcing you to use team communication. I don't know. I think that's their push to make it more of an esport, is to make the communication better like that. But we'll see if they actually have to split it up like that, and maybe implement a minimap if just the community refuses to do any type of coordination. Because if we had that minimap, yeah, we could set up structures, we could set up team positioning a lot better, but then so can they. I mean, it gives both sides too much information. It's almost like cheating. In a objective-based game, you don't want that ability to see through walls, predict the enemy team's movements. The only way you should be able to see all this happening is if it's happening to your team. So, in this situation, I'm just going to say suck it up. But I think that wraps up my initial thoughts on how Jetball is working right now with the PvP changes and just the initial mechanics of Jetball right now. Thank you guys for watching. I hope you see some of the ideas I have around Jetball right now and agree with some of the changes I'd like to see happen. If not, or if so, let me know in the comments below. I'd definitely like to hear your ideas. If you like the video, feel free to click the like, subscribe buttons below for future content on Firefall and PvP and stuff like that. Again, thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you next time.